The stars above Earth looked peaceful that night, but down below everything had changed. An explosion ripped through a quiet city market, shattering glass and silence. People screamed and ran, but one figure stood still in the chaos. A young, human man named Leo. He had just left work and was about to grab dinner when the alien ships arrived. They didn't come to negotiate. They came to conquer. From the sky, massive triangular warships hovered like shadows. The alien race, called the Kuril, were known across the galaxy for their pride and power. They believed humans were a soft, weak species. And this was their first direct attack on Earth. But Earth fought back. Leo was pulled into a rescue group by accident. He was just an engineer. He wasn't a soldier. But in this war, everyone had to fight. The Kuril soldiers were tall, silver-skinned, and spoke in a sharp, growling tongue. Their technology was better, their weapons faster, but they didn't expect humans to be so unpredictable. In the middle of battle, Leo saw something strange. A Kuril soldier had been left behind by her own squad. She was injured, bleeding, and trying to drag herself into cover. But instead of killing her like others would have, Leo helped her. He didn't know why. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the fear in her violet eyes. Maybe it was because she looked young, too young for war. He pulled her to safety, used a torn piece of cloth to wrap her wound, and kept her hidden until the gunfire stopped. She didn't speak at first, just stared, confused. "You're not going to kill me?" she finally asked in broken English. Leo blinked. "I don't kill strangers who are bleeding in front of me." She tilted her head. "You're a strange male." "Thanks. I get that a lot." That was the first time he met Zira, daughter of one of the Kuril generals, and trained from childhood to believe humans were lesser creatures. But that night something in her beliefs cracked. She was now his prisoner. Or maybe his responsibility. When peace talks were forced after Earth's sudden victory, many captured aliens were returned. But Zira didn't go back. She refused. She said she owed Leo a life debt, something sacred in her culture. She would stay with him until her honor was paid. Leo didn't understand alien traditions. He didn't even like roommates. But now, he had one. And as he'd soon learn, Kuril females had very strong ideas about how males should behave, especially when it came to food. Zira had never seen a human restaurant before. The neon lights, the noisy customers, and the smell of sizzling meat made her senses spin. Her planet didn't have places like this. On Kuril, food was delivered by servants or hunted with pride. But here, humans sat around tables, smiled, laughed, and waited for others to cook for them. Leo pushed open the glass door, letting her walk in first. "Smells like grease and survival," Zira muttered. Leo grinned. "Welcome to Galaxy Grill, best burgers in the district." Zira narrowed her eyes. "You're trying to impress me, male?" Leo blinked. "No, I'm trying to. Feed us both." They sat down in a booth. Zira kept glancing at the other humans, her fingers twitching like she was ready for a fight. Leo picked up a menu and passed one to her. "What is this? A paper tablet?" she asked. "It's a menu. You pick what you want to eat." Zira stared, hard at it. Then with pride in her voice she declared, "I will have the largest protein slab on this page, and that green circle dish beside it. That looks like some kind of earth beast's egg." Leo chuckled. "You mean the avocado toast?" "I accept." The waiter came and took their order. But when he left, Leo leaned back and smiled. "You'll like it. It's pretty healthy stuff." Zira nodded, then looked serious. "And now, you will pay." Leo frowned. "Well, actually, I thought we could split the bill." Zira froze. Her eyes widened as if she'd just been insulted in her mother tongue. "You want me to pay for my own food?" she asked in disbelief. "Yeah, that's how it works here sometimes. Split the cost." Zira slammed her fist on the table, making the napkin holder jump. "Where I come from, real males provide food. Always. No female should pay when sharing a meal with a male. especially not after she declared a life debt. People from other tables turned and stared. Leo cleared his throat awkwardly. Well, we're not on your planet anymore. Zyra narrowed her eyes. Then you will learn my customs, Earth male. Leo raised an eyebrow. Or maybe you learn ours. A silent pause followed. Tension thick as soup. Then the waiter returned with the food. Zyra sniffed the plate and said coldly, I will not eat until you honor your role. Leo sighed. Fine, I'll pay this time. But next time. There will be no next time unless you provide. She cut him off, and with that Zyra grabbed the burger, took a huge bite, and let out a satisfied growl. Delicious. You earthlings may be strange, but your beasts taste amazing. Leo stared at her, half amused, half confused. He had no idea this life debt was going to involve so many unexpected rules, but he was about to find out. This was only the beginning. The next morning, Leo was flipping pancakes in his small apartment kitchen when Zyra walked in, arms crossed, expression tight. She sniffed the air like a hunter tracking prey. You're cooking? Leo raised the spatula. Yeah. Why? You hungry? Zyra blinked in surprise. On her planet, males rarely cooked. Cooking was a servant's job or a sacred ritual led by high-caste females. But this human male? He stood there shirtless, humming a tune, flipping food, for someone else with no shame. You cook by choice? She asked, approaching slowly like she was observing a rare animal. Leo chuckled. Of course, I like cooking, it's relaxing. She looked at the stove, then at him. On Kirill, a male who can cook is considered high-value breeding stock. Leo almost dropped the spatula. Breeding what now? Zyra's expression was serious. Females compete to win such a mate. He is strong, independent, capable of providing nourishment and survival. Leo smirked. So now I'm elite, huh? Zyra sat at the counter, eyes locked on the golden stack of pancakes. You're still strange, but perhaps not entirely useless. He placed a plate in front of her. Thanks for the compliment. She picked up a fork and hesitated. Do I eat this with tools? Yes, that's a fork. You stab it, don't slice your fingers and you're good to go. She tried it, awkward at first, then took a bite. Her eyes lit up. This is sweet, soft, and warm. Is this what Earth courtship tastes like? Leo laughed. Something like that. Zyra ate faster now, as if worried he'd take it away. No wonder human females look so pleased in your films. Leo leaned on the counter. So, what does choral courtship look like? Zyra stopped chewing. Blood duels. Whoever survives wins the right to breed. Leo blinked. Yeah, we do things a bit differently. She chewed thoughtfully, then looked at him with sudden intensity. You'd be very popular on my planet, Leo. That caught him off guard. Is that a threat? Or a compliment? She gave a slight grin. Maybe both. Leo didn't know whether to laugh or lock the fridge. But one thing was clear. This alien girl was starting to see Earth males in a new way. And that might be even more dangerous than war. Leo didn't expect a quiet evening to turn into a declaration of war. He was lounging on the couch watching a sci-fi movie when Zyra walked into the living room, her hair slightly damp from the shower, wearing one of his t-shirts like it was a royal robe. You let me live here, she said seriously. But I don't see your markings anywhere. Leo raised an eyebrow. Markings? Yes, she nodded. On Coral, males claim their space with scent, symbols, or blood patterns. How do Earth males declare territory? Leo blinked. We usually just put our name on the Wi-Fi and keep snacks hidden from roommates. Zyra didn't laugh. She looked around suspiciously. You haven't declared this dwelling as yours. That's dangerous. Another male might enter and think you're unclaimed. Leo sighed. It's my apartment. My name's on the lease. Zyra crossed her arms. Show me proof. Prove this is your lair. Leo walked to the counter and held up a rent receipt. Here, paid last week, all mine. Zyra took the paper. examined it like a battlefield contract, then nodded. Acceptable, but still weak. Why weak? There is no visual proof of your dominance, no warning to others. Where is your weapon rack? Where are your trophies? Leo laughed. I have a PlayStation, does that count? Zira looked at the gaming console like it was a sacred object. Strange, but powerful. It hums. It glows. She walked over and tapped it. I now believe you are a male of rank. Leo shook his head. Glad the PS5 finally got me some respect. But before he could relax, Zira leaned close and said, Still, if another female enters this lair, I will challenge her. Leo sat upright. Whoa, what? My life debt gives me priority, and now that I've shared food, shelter, and scent with you, I have partial claim. He coughed. What scent? She smirked. Your shirt. Leo looked at her. Gorgeous, intense, unpredictable. Living with her was like playing chess while blindfolded, and the pieces were alive. And yet, part of him didn't mind. Maybe Earth males didn't mark territory with blood, but Leo was starting to realize he might have to mark something soon, because this alien girl wasn't going anywhere. The mall was supposed to be a safe, casual place. Leo only wanted to grab groceries and maybe some socks. Zira, however, saw it as a battlefield. She followed close behind him, scanning every face like a soldier in enemy territory. Her movements were sharp, alert, like she expected a sniper behind every soft pretzel stand. Relax, Leo said. We're just shopping. This area is too open, no cover, no defense points, Zira muttered. And too many females. Leo chuckled. Yeah, that's kinda normal here. But things took a turn when they entered the food court. Leo smiled politely at the cashier, a young human girl with a friendly face, while ordering 2 smoothies. As he stepped aside to wait, the girl gave him a small compliment. Nice shirt, she said with a smile. That was it. Just those 2 words. But Zira stiffened. Her eyes sharpened like knives. She stepped forward and stared down the poor girl behind the counter. That was a mating signal, she said coldly. The cashier blinked. What? You smiled. You praised his appearance. On Koril, that means you are challenging the dominant female. Leo jumped in. Whoa, Zira, chill. It's just a compliment. But Zira didn't back off. Do you wish to test your strength, human female? The cashier looked terrified. What? No, I just like his shirt. Zira leaned in. Then speak no more of it, he exclaimed. Leo grabbed Zira's arm and gently pulled her away before mall security got involved. Okay, that's enough warrior drama for one afternoon, he whispered. Back at the table, Zira folded her arms. She tried to challenge me. Leo sighed. This is Earth. People are nice. Smiling isn't flirting. It's just being polite. Zira gave him a long, suspicious look. Then Earth is full of confusing signals. How do you know who wants your seed? Leo nearly choked on his smoothie. Please don't say that out loud. She leaned closer. If another female touches you without permission, I will break her fingers, Leo groaned. You're really going to make grocery shopping a war zone, aren't you? Zira didn't smile, but she reached over and took his hand. Not roughly, not like a claim. Just softly. I don't understand your customs, Leo. But I understand this. You're the only one who ever looked at me without fear. I will defend that. For the first time, Leo had no sarcastic reply. He just held her hand back. And maybe Earth wasn't so different from Koril after all. Leo couldn't sleep that night. Zira had been quiet ever since the smoothie incident at the Yaoi's mall. She didn't threaten anyone, she didn't lecture him, she just stared at the ceiling of her small guest room like she was waiting for something to explode. At midnight, Leo heard soft footsteps and found her standing in the kitchen, staring at the refrigerator like it had insulted her. You okay? He asked, scratching his head. I've been thinking, she said. About earlier. He poured himself a glass of water. About nearly scaring that poor cashier into quitting her job. Zira shook her head. About the hand-holding, Leo paused. Ah, that. On Kirill, she began slowly. Touching hands during a life debt means something important. Leo raised an eyebrow. Let me guess. Another ancient warrior. Rule? Zyra nodded. Yes. If the life debtor touches hands with the lifesaver after sharing food and shelter, that final act completes a bond. Leo blinked. Wait, what kind of bond? Zyra stepped closer, serious now. A permanent one. As in, I cannot leave your side without great shame or permission. Leo almost dropped his glass. So, we're bonded? Like, forever? She looked down. Technically, yes, unless you reject me. Leo swallowed hard. And how do I reject you? You must spit on the ground, slap my face, and say, I release you, weak female. Leo stared. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Zyra looked up, surprised. You accept the bond? I mean, I didn't exactly plan this, but I don't want to hurt you. A strange silence filled the kitchen. Zyra's eyes softened. You are kind, she whispered. Leo gave a crooked smile. Well, I try. Most days. She looked confused again. You still confuse me, human. You act like a weakling, but behave with strength. You refuse power, but you lead without force. You feed me, shelter me, and now you bind yourself to me? Leo shrugged. Welcome to human love, maybe. Zyra turned away, hiding her face. This is dangerous. For me? For both of us, she said quietly. You don't understand what you've accepted. Kirill customs are not jokes. There are laws. There are consequences. Leo took a deep breath. Well, guess I better learn the rules. And with that, she gave a small, uncertain smile. It wasn't the smile of a warrior or a princess. It was the smile of someone who had never felt truly safe before. And now she finally might. Leo was used to awkward mornings, but today was something else entirely. He stepped into the living room to find Zyra crouched behind the couch, growling. Good morning, he said cautiously. Zyra pointed toward the front door. There's a male outside. I saw him sniff the hallway. Leo peeked through the peephole. That's Mr. Jenkins. He's 82. He's probably looking for his cat. Zyra narrowed her eyes. Cats are spies. Leo sighed. Okay, let's breathe and maybe not declare war on the neighbors, yeah? But Zyra didn't relax. You don't understand. Once a Kirill female is bonded, other males must stay away. If one touches me, I am bound by honor to fight. Leo crossed his arms. No one's going to touch you. People barely look up from their phones. Zyra stood up slowly. You must be vigilant. Even casual brushing can be seen as a challenge. Leo chuckled. So like, if someone bumps your shoulder in the grocery aisle, boom, intergalactic blood feud? She looked deadly serious. Yes. Leo sat down, rubbing his face. Great. So I'm not just a boyfriend. I'm a walking war alert system. Zyra tilted her head. Boyfriend? You know, Earth term for bonded male. She blinked. Strange word, but I accept it. He smirked. Gee, thanks. She stepped closer. Also, if I touch you in public, it sends a different message. Leo raised an eyebrow. What kind of message? Zyra's cheeks turned a faint shade of purple. It means I've chosen you as mate in the open, that you're claimed, protected, off limits. Leo laughed. Honestly, might come in handy. But as soon as he joked, Zyra placed her hand on his shoulder, in front of two women walking by the window. They looked, then whispered. Leo turned slowly. You did that on purpose? Zyra gave a rare smile. Yes. I'm learning your customs, flirting with visuals. Leo stared at her. You're terrifying. She tilted her head again. Do you like it? He paused, then nodded. Yeah, I kind of do. And just like that, The war-ready alien girl who once vowed to fight any female that smiled at him was now learning the human art of subtle teasing, one deadly gesture at a time. The skies above Earth cracked open with thunder that wasn't from any weather system. Leo stood at the window, staring at the sleek, black alien warship that hovered above the city. It wasn't firing. It wasn't landing. It was watching. Zira stood beside him, jaw tight, her hands clenched. "What is that?" Leo asked, heart pounding. "My father," she said coldly. "General Vorex of the Coral Dominion." Leo nearly dropped his coffee. "Your dad owns that flying fortress?" She nodded. "He's here because I haven't returned and because I bonded with a human." Leo stepped back from the window. Do I have to fight him?" "No," Zira said. "Not unless he asks you to." Leo groaned. "That's not better." The next hour passed in silence. Then the knock came. Heavy. Echoing. Final. Zira opened the door without fear. There stood General Vorex, 8 feet tall, silver-armored, his face covered in battle scars. His eyes glowed faintly as he looked past Zira, straight at Leo. "So, you are the male who touched my daughter," he growled. Leo raised both hands. Respectfully, she touched me first." Vorex's eyes narrowed. "And yet you allowed the bond to form?" Zira stepped in front of Leo. "It was my decision, father. He saved my life. He fed me. He gave me shelter. And he treated me with honor. Not like the soldiers you raised." Vorex paused. His face didn't change, but something behind his stare shifted. "He is small," the general said at last. "Strong where it counts," Zira replied without flinching. Leo choked on his breath. The general stepped forward, staring down at Leo. "Do you know what it means to take a Corial daughter in bond?" Leo nodded, slowly. "Yeah, I'm learning. It's terrifying." Vorex let out a deep rumble. Then, without warning, he pulled a blade from his belt and pointed it at Leo. "You will face the test, not with weapons, but with honor. Meet me at dusk, alone, or the bond is void." Zira's eyes widened. "Father, no!" But the general was already gone. Leo sank into the couch. "Please tell me the test is a cooking contest." Zira looked at him, worried. "You'll have to prove your worth, Leo, not as a warrior, but as a male of value." Leo muttered. "Great. I should have just split the bill and walked away when I had the chance." But deep inside, he knew. He didn't want to walk away. Not anymore. The sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the edge of the city. Leo stood at the abandoned rooftop, alone, just as the general had demanded. Zira had begged to come with him, but Leo shook his head. "If I don't do this myself, he'll never accept it." Now, with his palms sweating and heart racing, Leo waited. Then, with the sound of humming engines, a sleek hover platform descended. General Vorex stepped off, cloaked in dark armor, his gaze sharp as a blade. "I expected you to run," he said. Leo stood firm. Thought about it. Decided. "I like your daughter too much." Vorex's eyes narrowed. "This is not a duel, it is a trial. One of honor, patience, and purpose. You will face 3 questions. Answer wrong and I break the bond." Leo nodded. "I'm listening." The general took a breath. "First question. Why did you save her?" Leo thought for a moment. "Because I saw someone hurt and didn't think twice. I didn't care that she was alien. I cared that she was bleeding." Vorex didn't react. "Second question. What do you think it means to protect someone?" Leo answered quickly. "It means you stand between them and pain, even if you're scared. Even if it costs you something." The general stepped closer. "Third question. What are you willing to give up for her?" Leo paused. His eyes met the general's. "Everything I know. Everything I was. If it means she's safe, happy, and free, I'd give it all." A long silence followed. The wind moved around them. Finally, Vorex stepped back and sheathed his blade. You speak like a soldier, but you act like something rarer. Leo blinked. What's that? A worthy male. A faint glow emerged from the general's chest plate. He removed a small metallic symbol and held it out. The bond is accepted. You may place this on your dwelling. It will mark your home as protected by Kirill blood. No warrior will challenge you now. Leo took it, his hand shaking slightly. Vorex turned to leave, then paused. Hurt her, and there won't be a second trial. Leo smiled. Understood. As the general disappeared into the sky, Leo looked up into the stars. He didn't win a battle. He earned a family. The next morning, Leo woke to a strange smell. It was smoky, sweet, and also a little like burned rubber. He rushed into the kitchen and froze. Zira stood proudly in front of the stove, wearing an apron that read, "Kiss the Cook," which she found in a thrift store and misunderstood as a battle title. The kitchen behind her looked like a battlefield. Sauce on the walls, flour in the air, and something black and bubbling in the frying pan. "Good morning, bonded male," she said confidently. "I have prepared your human nourishment." Leo stared at the smoking mess. Thank you. What exactly am I looking at?" She lifted the pan proudly. "It is your earth dish, pancakes. I researched them. Round, fluffy, and covered in syrup. I followed instructions, with minor creative adjustments." Leo took a cautious bite. It crunched. "Zira, pancakes aren't supposed to crunch." She tilted her head. "I used extra eggs for protein, and added crushed protein bars and salt, lots of salt." Leo smiled weakly. "Tastes like breakfast on a battlefield." Zira frowned. "I have failed." He set down the fork and stepped closer. "No, you tried. That's what matters." She sighed. "Kirill females never cook for males, but I wanted to give back, to show I respect you." Leo smiled. "You don't need to impress me with food. You already earned my respect the first time you didn't punch me," she smirked. "You're lucky I almost did." Leo laughed, then reached for a fresh pan. "Let me teach you the Earth way. First lesson, don't add salt unless the recipe says so." They cooked together. The second batch wasn't perfect, but it didn't taste like burnt lava either. And somewhere between laughter and spilled batter, Zira looked at him and whispered something in her own language. Leo glanced up. "What was that?" She blushed, slightly. "A phrase from my world. It means you feel like home." Leo looked at her for a long moment and smiled. "Right back at you." It started with a walk through the park. Leo and Zira were enjoying the afternoon sun, sipping iced drinks and talking about earth animals. Zira still didn't trust squirrels, when music floated through the air. It was soft, gentle, and emotional. Then, they saw it, a wedding, white chairs, flowers, a couple standing under an arch, guests smiling, people wiping tears. Zira stopped walking. "What is this? Ceremony?" Leo smiled. "It's called a wedding, a tradition here. When two people choose each other for life." Zira tilted her head. "So, it's an official bonding ritual?" "Yes," Leo nodded. "But on Earth it's not forced. It's chosen. You say vows. You promise love, respect, loyalty." She stared at the couple. "And you do this in public?" "Yeah. To show the world you belong to each other." Zira stepped closer to the edge of the grass, watching the bride walk down the aisle. "They look proud and scared and full of something. Strong love," Leo said quietly. Zira didn't speak for a moment, then asked, "Is this what humans do when they truly bond? Not by law or custom, but by heart?" Leo looked at her. "Yeah, pretty much." She didn't look at him, but her hand reached out and gently touched his. "My people use war to show loyalty, but this is beautiful." Leo squeezed her fingers softly. "Someday, if you ever wanted, we could do something like that." Zira finally turned to him, eyes bright. "If it means I get to stand beside you like that, I think I would want it." and as the bride and groom kissed under the arch, Zira leaned closer to Leo's ear and whispered, "But only if I get to wear armor under the dress." Leo laughed. "Deal." It had been 3 months since Zira's trial with her father, 2 months since Leo survived the crunchy pancakes, and exactly 1 week since they watched that wedding in the park. Things had changed, but nothing prepared Leo for what happened at lunch. They sat at a cozy cafe downtown. Sunlight poured in through the window as a waiter placed their check gently on the table. Leo reached for his wallet, but Zira grabbed it before he could blink. "I'll pay," she said calmly. Leo blinked. Really?" She nodded. "You've fed me, taught me, protected me, and helped me understand emotions I didn't even know I had. You've earned rest. Let me provide." Leo chuckled. "But what about your warrior pride? Choral laws? Real males must provide, remember?" She smirked. "You were a weakling earth male when I met you. Now you've earned your scars, so I will provide for you, until your wounds heal." Leo grinned. "I stubbed my toe, not fought in a war." "A wound is a wound," she said seriously, sliding her alien currency card into the payment device. The waiter gave Leo a look, as if asking if he was okay with being outclassed by his own girlfriend. Leo just raised his drink. "To powerful women who pay the bill." Zira clinked her glass against his. "To human males who finally learn when to shut up and accept kindness." They laughed. Together. Later, as they walked through the streets of the city, hand in hand, Leo whispered, "You know, next time I want to cook dinner." Zira smiled. "Fine, but don't forget, I bought the groceries." And just like that, the war-born alien girl who once saw Earth as soft had fallen in love with the quiet strength of a human who never wanted power, only peace, pancakes, and someone to share the bill with.